Well, hello everyone. I'm Mike. There's Bruno chewing on his little pigskin roll there. And of course, we have Winston. He's chewing on his too. I finally found something that'll keep the boys occupied for a little bit. But hey, thanks for stopping by. I know it's been a little while since I shot the last video on the donated tool haul, but I have been busy, and I'll show you what I've been up to. Okay, here's a little table I found. Then took all the warped veneer that was peeling away from it off of there. It does have the two sides that fold down. There was a lot of water damage. Apparently somebody decided to use it as a plant stand, but I grabbed it because of course you can't beat that price. Free. So I've been working on that a little bit. The same gentleman that donated the tool haul in the last video also donated this to me. It's a Murray. The dates on the tag are anywhere from 96 to 99. I imagine if I read the code, I can find the exact year. It's a 21-inch, two-stroke, single stage. It does run, but it does have kind of a hunting issue with the carburetor, unto which I just kind of gave it a real kind of a quick clean, and that seemed to smooth it out a little bit. However, I did order myself the carb kit for it. Well, actually, it's just the needle, the seat, bowl gasket, and the nut gasket with the little pieces inside there. And I did get me the little needle and seat tool that goes with it also. So I've been kind of toying around with that. I freed up the electric start. The gear was kind of rusted and seized on there. But then the next issue I'm going to have is the auger. And I'll get you in there to see that. They had run it so far and so much that they actually wore the rubber down to the cement, and pretty much wore the metal down, as you can see, and they were just running it on the metal, on the concrete. So that'll have to be addressed, and then with those issues fixed and a quick spray down, that should take care of that machine for my son Kyle. So I've been working on that a little bit, waiting on parts, of course. But all in all, a pretty decent machine. Just needs a little bit of love. Excuse me. Then over the last couple of weeks, we've had our citywide garage sales are coming up into full swing. So there's one town called Keota. I found 2 items there that I'd be interested in, and I will show you those here in just a second, and see you in a minute. Okay, one of the items that I picked up at the Keota yard sale was this here DeWalt hand sawzall that works off the same power supply that I work on. Looks pretty much fairly brand new. It is missing the side tag on it, but it is a DeWalt. I checked into that. Yeah, I picked that up for $15. Then I picked up this Snap-on screw extractor set for $20. It said $20 for them. I'm like, okay. Box is kind of grungy. But when you look inside, all the pieces are there, but it's never been used. It's just got a little dirt and grime and what have you, like it just got kind of shoved around in the toolbox. And what's kind of neat, and I'll show you here, is that it actually, if I can get it to focus in on there, it tells you what size drill to use. This one says use a 1/8 drill. Let's see here. Not really giving you much of an opportunity to see that, am I? If I can get that to focus. Yeah, right there. Snap-on 1/8 drill. But like I said, the tips, I don't even think they've even been used. So for $20, I figured, yeah, okay. I won't argue. That's what I found in Kyoto. The next one I'm really, really happy with is the other town that we went to was Lone Tree. And at one sale, I found those 2 metal signs. And then I found all these wooden toy tractors somebody made. Now he was selling them for $4 a piece. I thought, okay, so I picked one. And he goes, you know what? I'll tell you what. Make you a deal. The whole box, $20. And I started looking at it. Some of these just need to be wiped out. Some of these have been banged around. But I figure, a little bit of paint stripper, a little bit of sanding to get the wood back into shape, repaint. I think my grandson will like playing with all those. I know I would. So I picked that up. Then I picked up that service cart. It's a Wen, 36 by 24. An old lady was going to use it for gardening. Didn't even have it fully assembled until her health got really bad. So I picked that up for half the price it does go for. And they go for around about $140, $150. And it's pretty durable. So I thought that was a fair enough deal. I mean, she never used it. Half price. That works for me. Then I found that toolbox with the 2 trays at the bottom there for $10. And inside that tool tray was a bunch of stuff. Let me get this yard decoration that got picked up. Just a little, like, well pump type thing that's been oxidized. Just needs a little bit of a cleanup and a repaint. So set him over there. That was free, by the way. So let's get you a little closer here. Yeah, you look like you're in a pretty good spot. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Over here in this corner, there's some kind of no-name tools. This was a Craftsman spark plug socket, but with the pitting in it, I don't know. I might still try and get that to clean up. We'll see. It might work okay on a sander. I just wire brushed it to see how far the pitting went. But the rest of these here, like Globemaster, never heard of them. Made in India, I believe. Yeah. Globemaster. India? I don't know. They're metric. I might see what I can do with those. There's a Fuller and a Master Mechanic screwdriver in there. Figure I'll keep those. Some clamps. Hacksaw blade from Stanley. This one here is a Master Mechanic ratchet. 3/8 drive. Still works pretty good. And it has the release on it. And that's in really good shape, to be quite honest with you. This one's missing the screw, but it is a True Test. Where did I see that at? Oh, up here, but barely. But it did say True Test. In the sunlight, you can see it. But there it is. But yeah, True Test. I think that's kind of like a hardware store brand, like True Value, maybe. It is kind of gunky. And without that screw in there, there is a little bit of play in there. But not bad. I think once that screw's in there, it'll stay pretty tight. But there is kind of a bit of a issue there. And it must have been missing that screw for quite a while to get that kind of sloppy in there. So once we get that apart, maybe we can see what kind of damage is inside there. Might be able to save it. And then the reason why I grabbed it, and this is really, to me, worth the $10 right here. A 1/2-inch drive, Craftsman, single V, single line V, 1/2-inch drive with the thumb wheel. I kind of like this push pin deal, but yeah, so the pawls and the gearing in there is all pretty well, I think, in good shape. Just needs a little bit of a tear down and clean up. Then the 3/8 version, same thing, single line, single V. Just a smaller, the 3/8 version of the same ratchet, in relatively good shape. Just need to clean these up, and those would be some good users. There's 2 open-end Craftsman. That one's been well used, pretty well worn. Single V, nope, double V. And this one's also a double V. Come on, focus. Craftsman. I think that's like the Barn A, I'm not sure. But, 13/16 and then 25/32. Some really weird sizes. They were in relatively decent shape. Old Red Devil poly, like a hard plastic, kind of like this plastic here that the cart's made out of. But it looks like we got the option to swap out the blades. So those can come out, probably be cleaned up, and it should be ready to go. Then over here, in this corner, and in this corner, all these sockets are Craftsman double V. There's some half inch, or they're all 3/8 it looks like. Yep, and 1/4 inch. However, some of these are a little worse for wear. They are kind of all grungy on the inside there. I don't know how well that's going to turn out for you guys. See, yeah, this one's like the worst one. But as you can see, all that crud. Now this toolbox, it said $10, and I was like, oh, okay, they're selling the toolbox for $10. Lifted it up, and this is all the stuff that was in there. Some soldering paste and solder. A little metal rod. 1/2 inch. Single V. Looks like it might be a 6-inch. Extension. No name on this, but a 3/8 little spade bit. Some assorted hardware. This looks like 1/2 inch to 3/4. That needs some love. And some various hardware, a couple of little Craftsman ignition wrenches, which I've got a pile of these. And some various assorted hardware. So yeah, that's what I picked up at that. I'm going to try and clean these up, depending on how they turn out. There's also another gentleman that I watch, and he likes to send some of that harder to find stuff. Well, not for us, but there's a couple of guys in England. So I found some other stuff that I can send with him, and then maybe he can send that on. I'm pretty well okay on sockets for use. But yeah, like I said, I'll kind of clean these up, soak them in oil, wipe them off, and then ship them off to another gentleman that he knows. And then at the resale shop, I'll show you what I picked up there too. Just a second, I'll get you set up okay. Well, well, well. Okay. So at the resale shop, I found another SK 1/2 inch drive ratchet. That doesn't sound too bad, I don't think. But they all seem to want to rust like right there and right there. But the other one cleaned up. So I have a duplicate of him. That's fine with me. But she does sound kind of dirty inside. Found this Wright 1/2 inch drive impact set. For $12. I paid $2 for the ratchet, by the way. Yeah, these need a little bit of a cleanup again, but it came in its original case. Does look like there might be 1 or 2 missing. However, I've got enough big ones that wish I knew what that sticker was all about. I wonder if yeah, All the writing's been faded off on it. But yeah, picked that up. And then I also picked up another electric motor. This one, I do not know if it works. It looked like at one time they had used it for sanding. The bearings are good in it, but to try and plug this in, I'm not too sure I want to try that. They got it wired to this when it looked like that was the original, possibly. And then they got it wired into this with no ground. And so I'm trying to figure out what in the world they did. So of course, again, I'm replacing a cord. I don't know if there's a fuse in this or what. I'll have to kind of play with it. But I'm thinking that'll probably work. I paid $4 for it. FSP. But it is a 1725 RPM, 1/3 horsepower. Well, see, I've got 2 of these now, and I want to try and convert one into a buffer polisher. But I went to the hardware store. I went to Ace, and boy, oh boy, guess what? I actually stumped them. They did not have a collet or an adapter that would fit the end of the shaft. They sell the electric motors, but they don't sell any of the parts that go with them. None of the brackets, none of the... So I'm going to probably run to Harbor Freight and see what I can find there. But first of all, I want to make sure that this one's running or operational. And I paid $4 for that. So it might have some bigger issues than what I think. But that's what I've been up to. That's what I've kind of collected so far, as it were. We're going to have our garage sale this Saturday. And whatever doesn't sell at that garage sale is going straight to the resale shop. We did a little food drive for the resale shop, and we got some donations, some food. So hopefully Darren will appreciate that, which he probably will. They're kind of struggling right now. But all in all, that is what I have been up to. So sorry again for being a while to get back to you guys on what's going on, but like I said, yeah, gotta love those citywide. Well, actually, for us, it's town-wide. I don't think either town that we were in, the population was over 1,500. I know our town's about 12 something, maybe a little more or less, but on average, the towns around here by me, it range anywhere from 1,200 to maybe 1,500. But that's where you find all the good stuff because you're kind of a little more self-sufficient. So that is the way me and my wife like it, nice and quiet. And we'll see how far the boys are on their G thingies, because they seem to be quite quiet. Hey, Winston. Hey. No, you're not doing too bad. You're doing pretty good on yours, huh? Huh? What do you say? Huh? You like your chewy? Uh-huh. Yeah. And let's see, Bruno, are you ready for your close up? And he's making a pretty good dent. He gets a little bit smaller one. He only gets about a half. Winston can handle his little. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're a good boy. Huh. So, for me and the boys, we appreciate you stopping by. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to say goodbye to everybody? Okay. You're always ready for a ham shot. So for me and the boys, thanks again for stopping by. And as always, keep on tinkering. Yeah, you get the belly rubs. Bruno doesn't like his belly rubs too much. He likes his ear scratched, but he doesn't like belly rubs. But you like the belly rubs, don't you? You like the belly rubs, don't you? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You've been a very good boy. You've been nice and quiet. Yeah. So I gotta clean up my mess and then I gotta set out the garbage for the garbage trucks, huh? Okay. Thanks again, folks. Have a good week.